Welcome to training on the Track and Trace Geoforce application for administrative level users. To reach the website, please go to www.geoforce.com. On the main page on the top right-hand corner, you will see an option to log in. Click this button. You will be prompted to enter your username and password. Your username is generally your email address, and your password is sent to you via your email when your username is created. If you are having any issues logging in, please reach out to Geoforce Help Desk. Then select Login. The map view allows the user to view assets and their information on a map display. It also allows you to apply map layers for more information regarding your assets and their location. Clicking the Map Layers button will allow you to apply any layers you have available, such as home yards, name locations, U.S. wells, and many others. Selecting the Zoom button will allow you to draw a box on the map. Once drawn, the map will zoom in, showing the assets within the box. This is a great alternative to zooming in and recentering the map multiple times. Next, you will see the Search option. The Search option allows you to search through assets, addresses, and wells. In this example, I searched for the asset redfish. The results include any assets, addresses, or wells with the keyword redfish included. Once the search results are returned, you can click on any of them to pull them up on the map. The Reset button will clear the map of any information you have currently displayed and zoom back out to the global view. Clicking the Find Nearest button will allow you to click on the map, and the system will search for the closest assets to that selected location. This can be a great tool when trying to dispatch units to a location. The Box Search button will allow you to draw a box on the map, and the system will display all assets that are located within that box. This is a very useful tool to view all assets that are within close proximity of each other, such as a home yard. The Ruler function allows you to draw a line between 2 points on a map and get the distance between those points. To exit this function, double-click your mouse. The Filters button will open a menu on the right-hand side. The Group drop-down allows you to select a group of assets that you would like to be displayed on the map. The Last Seen In drop-down allows you to select a time frame in which assets have last responded in. For example, if you would like to see all the assets that have reported within the last 24 hours, this drop-down will allow you to view that information. You can also search for a specific flag color on the map. We'll go over what flags are in a minute. Lastly, you can search for assets that have specific maintenance tasks assigned to them and choose to view only specific task statuses. For example, you may want to view your vehicles that have an oil change due to see where they are right now. Once you've chosen your selection, you can then select Filter to change the map. At the bottom of the map, you can select the Timeline feature. Using this feature, you can choose a date and time to see where your assets were. This data is exportable to either a list of assets in the location at that time or breadcrumbs for that location. Finally, each of the map pins are clickable to reveal some detail about that asset: the asset name and its ID, its last known location, when it was last seen by our system, and if it's a vehicle tag, its status, either stopped or in motion. You can click the link at the bottom to go to the asset description page. We will cover that shortly in another section. The list view shows much of the same data as the map view, but in a different format. Up at the top, you have the ability to search for your asset name or ID, or you can type the asset name into the search bars under asset name or ID. You can also use the icons to reorganize the information alphabetically or numerically. If you've chosen to create groups, you will be able to select a group here to only see the assets in that group. There are several functions you can do on the list view screen. By selecting the box on the left next to an asset and selecting the Tools icon, you can make changes to multiple assets at once. My Asset Basket allows you to group assets temporarily. Share Assets gives you the ability to share your assets' data with an outside source. This is handy if your assets are on rent to another company. If you're interested in setting this up, reach out to Help Desk. We can set up an account for your customer with a login and a password, and they can see your asset's current location only. Change Asset Type allows you to change the classification the system currently has set for your asset. If, for example, you'd like your asset type changed from car to light-duty truck, you can make that change here and then click Update. Group Assets allows you to group some of your assets together. In the Setup section, we will show you how to create groups. Once a group is created, you can select the assets you want to go into this group, then choose this button. Select the group name, then Group Assets. In the same way, you can ungroup multiple assets as well. Apply Rules allows you to apply a rule to the selected group of assets. To get notified when the asset breaks that rule, use the drop-down menu to select the rule you want to apply. In this example, we will use when the asset enters a location. You can then select the location you want to be alerted to when your asset enters. You have the option to select a flag status change. Finally, add the email addresses of the individuals you want to receive this notification. Then select Add New Rule. Allowing your asset to have a flag status change makes it easy for you to see on the map and the list view which assets have red flagged and need to be addressed right away. Keep in mind that you will need to manually change the flag status back to white or green. To do that, you can select Change Flag and change the flag back to the color you wish. If you wish to change the color of the pin that shows up on the map view, you can do so by selecting Change Map Pin Color. As with the rest of the Tools functions, you will first need to select the box next to the asset and then the color you want the asset changed to. Finally, you can also delete your asset. To get more specific data about one asset, you will need to click into the Asset Description page. To access that, click on one of the icons, either the asset name or ID. The first tab will be the Summary tab. On the left side, you will see the asset description, which is optional to add. And on the left bottom will show the last week's worth of engine runtime if the unit can calculate that data. On the right side, you will see the asset's last known location and last report time. Under Latest Readings, we'll read an accumulate summary that will be different depending on the tag type you have installed. In this case, this vehicle tag is showing battery voltage, engine runtime, GPS odometer, idle time, and in-motion time. You can make adjustments to the telemetry by selecting Adjust and then changing the numbers to reflect real-time data you have checked on your equipment. For example, you may want to change the GPS odometer to reflect actual mileage on your vehicle when you first installed your tag. This will help later to run more accurate maintenance tasks based off of the mileage on your vehicle. The History Maps tab will primarily show you the breadcrumbs for your asset. You can select a specific date range to see where your asset was at that time. Keep in mind that vehicle tags report more frequently than satellite tags, and more data will take longer to load. You can click on the map pins or the date and time to see more information about that breadcrumb. This map also has the ability to show the same map layers you can see on the Map View tab. Depending on your tag type, you may also have the ability to see enter-exit events, stops, and safety events. All of this data is exportable to an Excel spreadsheet. The Notifications tab allows you to apply rules to this individual asset. Again, you will just need to select the rule to apply to this asset, set up the configuration for that rule, and add the email addresses that need to be notified when this rule is broken. The Telemetry tab is accessible for tags that can be connected to your asset's engine. This tab will show you accumulate engine runtime or GPS odometer, depending on what you select. You can view this data for a day, week, or month period and change the start date. The system defaults to a total amount per hour, day, or week, but you can also select values to see this data accumulate over time. This data is exportable to a spreadsheet as well. On the right side, you will see where any adjustments were made to the telemetry and whom was responsible for the adjustments. The Maintenance tab allows you to set up maintenance tasks based on calendar dates, engine runtime, or GPS odometer. You can create a scheduled maintenance task that will repeat, for example, an oil change for your vehicle every 5,000 miles. Once the scheduled maintenance task is completed, you would enter that the work was done and the count resets. You can also enter completed tasks or one-offs. An example of this would be changing a tire. To make sure that all of the maintenance on your asset is recorded, all of this data is exportable. For more in-depth training, please see Maintenance Task Training. The Notes and Attachments tab is an area to add any extra information about your asset. You can upload pictures or documents. You can also add any special notes about this asset. Anyone with access to the application can see this data. The last tab in the Asset Description page is the Edit tab. This is where you can change fundamental elements of your asset, such as its name or the tag it was assigned to. From here you can also change the map pin color, change the asset type, assign your asset to a group, share your asset, and delete your asset. When you're done making any changes, please make sure to click Save on the bottom right corner. The Dashboard tab summarizes most of the data that you see in the map, list, and asset description pages. You can select Asset and see summaries of your asset's data, asset flag statuses, asset type counts, group asset count, your recent asset activity, and what assets have been seen recently and not seen recently. All of these graphs are clickable to take you to the specific asset or data they are referencing. The Account view gives you a more in-depth look at the specifics to your account, how many users and of what type, as well as the types of tags you have and their battery status. The first screen you will see is the speeding screen. To configure speed limits for your account, click on the Setup screen, then click Speed Limits. You can add a speed limit for all of your vehicles by entering the number here and clicking Save. You can also add a speed limit for a specific group of vehicles by selecting the group and adding the maximum speed. Finally, you can add a speed limit for a named location area. Click to add the named location and add a maximum speed. Then click Save. Please note, the system can be configured to give kilometers per hour instead of miles per hour. Please contact Geoforce Help Desk if your account needs this switch made. Once you've configured speed limits in your account, you will see speeding events show up on your Fleet tab. You can also add speeding-based notifications to your assets or groups and run a speeding events report. Please note that we've added a time speeding area to give context for the speeding event. You can choose to see only speeding events that lasted longer than a specific period of time. You can also see the average and maximum speed for that speeding event. Click on the dashboard area to see a summary of your speeding events, top speeders, how many speeding events you've had in the last week. You can click on the Safety Events link to see a summarized view of all of your events that are considered unsafe. To see a day in the life of your vehicle, click the Service Verification button. Enter the vehicle name to see a list of your vehicles that match that description, and then select the correct vehicle. Then choose the date range you would like to see. Keep in mind this date range must be less than 48 hours. You can also select down to the time of day you'd like to see as well. Then click Done, and then Go. Additionally, you can select under Options if you want to see other assets in the vehicle's path, Show Rig Data, or choose how you'd like the data to geocode. By default, it will show well sites, drilling info rigs, and name locations. You can also adjust the time that the system will identify as a stop. The data on the left side is a summary of the stops and transit times for that vehicle for that period of time. To get more information about each stop or transit, you can double-click on the summary. The green on the map will show where the asset was moving, and the red shows its stops. If you scroll your mouse over the map pins, you can see them highlighted across the timeline on the top to see when they were exactly at that point. On the right side, you can add map layers, including name locations, so you can see if your vehicle entered or exited that area. And on the left, you can switch from satellite to map view. All of this data is printable by clicking the printer icon. Finally, you can check out the safety dashboard, which summarizes the data we've gone over in the previous sections on one screen. You can also see important data like what time of day or the day of the week is the worst for speeding events across your fleet. The Reports tab is the central location for all reports you can run on the website. On the left side, you will see report groups. You can click on any of the groups to narrow down which reports are shown based on your business goals. All reports are configured a little differently, so please consult Geoforce Help Desk if you are having trouble running any. The example we will use today will be the Asset Movement Report. Click on the report. You will be given your groups to choose from if you've created any. Select the group you want to run the report for. You can select multiple groups by holding down Control on your keyboard and then selecting multiple groups. You can then select a distance threshold and a time frame. Should you want to schedule this report to be sent to you or another email address at a later time, you can select Save this report configuration and name the report. Then select Run Report. Once the report is run, it will show up on the right side of the screen as a completed report. You can also see reports that are currently in the queue to be run. To schedule a report, click on the report that you have saved. At the bottom of the report page, you will see an icon to schedule the report. Click to schedule. Select how often you would like the report to be sent and the next date you would like it to be run on. For example, if you want a report to come to you on the 1st of the month for the month before, you would select 1st of month. Select a time you want this report run, and then add all email addresses you want this report to be sent to. Then click Schedule. If you need to change or delete the scheduled report, simply go back into the scheduled report screen and change it from there. The Setup tab is where you take care of anything foundational for the application. Under Users, you can create new users for the system. Select New User on the right to create a new user. Enter the user's first and last name and an email address. You can enter a phone number for the user as well if you wish. Make sure to keep the box checked to send a welcome email, as this will send the user their password via their email address. Finally, you can select a user level type. This will allow the user to have varying levels of permissions to see and change their data. For more information about what each permission level is able to do, please reference the Geoforce help site. When you're finished, click Save Change. To change your own password, you can click on your username and select Change Password in the top right-hand corner. This will allow you to change the password from what it was sent to you to whatever you wish. Finally, if one of the users in your account forgets their password, you can click on their username and select Reset Password. This will send them an email with a new password. Name Location allows you to add geofenced areas into the application. Once you've created these areas, you can receive reports and notifications that indicate when an asset has entered or exited that area, or how long they've been on site. To create a new name location, enter some location data, either an address, city, or a latitude-longitude to zoom in on that area. Once you've determined the area on the map you want to have a geofence around, you can use the polygon, point, or circle to draw on the map. The point function allows you to add a dot on the map. The circle allows you to add a larger dot. The polygon function allows you to freehand draw around the map. Just click where you want to have the point and double-click to get out of the function. You can modify the fence by clicking Modify and then clicking inside the fence and moving the dots to adjust. To exit the Modify mode, click outside of the geofenced area. Finally, on the left you will need to name your geofenced area and select the type of named location you want to designate it as. I will show you how to create name location types in a different section. Make sure to add a buffer distance. This allows for GPS drift just outside of the geofenced area. Finally, you can add additional information about this name location if you wish. When you're finished, click Save Location. To create a new name location type, click on the icon on the right-hand side of the screen. Type the name of the location that you would like and classify the location type. You can also choose the color of the geofence that will show up on the map screen. Then click Save. To modify an existing name location type, click the pen and paper icon on the right-hand side to take you to the screen to make changes. Creating assets is essential to have your assets show up in all their parts of the application. The idea is to marry the serial number on your Geoforce tag with the name of the asset you can identify. To start, click New Asset on the right. Enter the asset name and ID. They do not need to be different, they can be the same. For this example, we will type Test Unit as the asset name and Test Unit 101 as the asset ID. You can choose to add a description of your asset. This will show up on the Asset Description page Summary tab. Select the serial number of the Geoforce tag you have installed on your asset. Finally, select an asset type. Choose from the selection of asset types that best fits the description of the equipment you have installed your Geoforce tag on. If you ever have any questions as to what your asset type should be, please reach out to Geoforce Help Desk. Finally, click Save Changes to save your asset. All of this data is exportable by clicking the link on the right-hand side. You can modify any existing asset by clicking on the pen and paper icon on the right side, which will take you to the Edit tab on the Asset Description page to make changes. If someone has shared assets into your account, you will be able to see them here under Shared Assets. They will also pop up for you on the map and the list views. The Tags menu is your inventory screen. Here's where you can see all of the tags you've purchased from Geoforce and their active status. You can search for an asset ID or tag numbers by entering the data into the blank field and hitting Enter. This is also a good screen to get an idea if you have a tag that has been installed but the asset has not been created for it. It will show up as reporting, but the asset area will be blank. All of this data is exportable as well. If you find that your asset isn't reporting and you believe it should be, please reach out to Geoforce's Help Desk to troubleshoot. The final tab in this screen is the Groups tab. To create a group, click New Group on the right. Enter the name of the group you want to create and click Save Changes. Remember that to add assets to a group, you can do that from either the Asset Description page or from the List tab using Tools. This ends the Track and Trace tutorial for the Geoforce application. Please contact Help Desk with any follow-up questions you may have or reference the help site. Thank you for choosing Geoforce.